This is the South Dakota State High School Football Championships on the Eyewitness News Network, sponsored by your Community Norwest Bank, where you come to expect the best, and by Dakota Care, the health care plan of the South Dakota Medical Association, and by Toshiba America Information Systems Incorporated, proud to be a part of high school athletics, and by the South Dakota Beef Industry Council, beef, real food for real people, and by John Morrell. With your support, we can support the youth of South Dakota. And Northland Ford.
Good morning, football fans, and welcome to the Dakota Dome on the campus of the University of South Dakota in Vermillion. I'm Jeff Harkness, along with Steve Sochak, and we're going to be here for the next 2 days to bring you all 5 South Dakota High School Football Championships for 1991. We've got a little bit of everything for you. We've got Cinderella stories, we've got dynasties, we've got unbeaten teams, we've got teams who have never been here before, so stick with us the next 2 days, and we think we'll bring you some exciting football action, including our very first game today, the 9B Championship, the Express from Herreid and Pollock making the trip south to go against the Cardinals from Irene, Steve, in a 9B championship, which should be a good one.
Well, when you talk about nine-man football, Jeff, you talk about excitement, wide open, a lot of speed out there. Both teams kind of carbon copies of each other. They like to run the ball. They like to run the ball on the sweep. So we'll look for that in the early going as both teams try to bust it outside and take it for those long touchdowns.
And, of course, the defending champ is not here. Wall was knocked out in the opening round by Edgemont. The team they played last year, Northwestern, didn't even make the playoffs in 1991. The second game this afternoon, defending 11A champ Garrettson, they'll be taking on Wessington Springs, one of the Cinderella stories of this tournament.
And that's a great matchup. The Blue Dragons, the defending state champs, they come in obviously as the favorite. Wessington Springs, they're very happy to be here, and they think they can beat Garrettson.
All right, so Herreid, Pollock, and Irene getting set for the 9B championship for the state of South Dakota. We'll be back with more from the Dakota Dome in a moment. You're watching South Dakota High School Championship football on Dakota territory of the Eyewitness Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the South Dakota High School Activities Association would like to welcome you to the Vermillion for the State High School Football Championship. Our first championship game is Class 9B between the Irene Cardinals and the Herreid Pollock Express. At this time, let's meet the offensive lineup for the Herreid Pollock Express. At left end, number 33, Bronson Seymour. At guard, number 55, Scott Sempner. At center, number 54, Matt Renner. At guard, number 30, Larry Umber. At right end, number 26, Jason Bauer. At quarterback, number 35, Gary Grad. At fullback, number 10, Kent Fellum. At halfback, number 82, Nathan Gehring. At halfback, number 44, Doug Peterson. The head coach of the Express is Doug Sky. And now let's meet the defensive unit for the Irene Cardinals. At end, number 11, Mike Satter. At tackle, number 62, Darren Jensen. At tackle, number 52, Dan Slowey. At end, number 82, Steve Wubinga. At linebacker, number 22, Kelly Nielsen. At linebacker, number 32, Jason Pittman. At linebacker, number 50, Travis Van Beek. At safety, number 16, Joe Sees. At safety, number 24, Matt Canodal. And the head coach of the Cardinals is Brett Muchikanaus. The officials for this 9B championship game. The referee is Paul Ortman. The umpire is Dick Barta. The linesman, Tim Ober. And the line judge, John Jort. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and place your hand over your heart as the South Dakota Army National Guard, represented by members of Detachment 1, 730th Medical Company, and Battery C, 1st Battalion, 147th Field Artillery, present the flag of our country. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your flag speaking. I was born June 14th, 1777. I am more than just a cloth shaped into a design. I am the refuge of the world's oppressed people, the silent sentinel of freedom. I am the emblem of the greatest sovereign nation on earth, the inspiration for which American patriots have given their lives and fortunes. I have led your sons and daughters into battle since the beginning back at Valley Forge, and walked in silence with each of your honored dead to their final resting place beneath the row upon row of silent white crosses. I have flown through war and peace, strife and prosperity, and amidst it all, I have been respected. My red stripes symbolize the blood which has been spilled in defense of this glorious nation. My white stripes signify the burning tears shed by Americans who have lost their sons and daughters. My blue field is indicative of God's blue sky under which I fly. My stars, clustered together, unify and bring together 50 states as one for God and country. As I am carried aloft in front of you, it gives me great pride to see all of you standing at attention with your right hand over your heart. It shows me that you are all very patriotic, and that is what it takes to make this greatest nation on earth. The riflemen that escort me are a symbol of the strength of this nation. The National Guardsmen represent the millions of servicemen and women who have served in the armed forces and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedoms and principles. Today, I would ask that you take a moment to remember all our servicemen and women, both past and present. I would also ask that whatever you see in me, be it leading a parade, flying outside, that you pause for a moment to reflect my true meaning. Please continue to honor me, respect me, and never let me down from my lofty position. As long as you do this, I will continue to proudly represent the greatest nation on earth, the United States of America. Would you please continue standing and join in singing our national anthem as it is played by the Irene High School Band under the direction of Connie Wollaber. We would remind all in attendance that the proper respect is the removal of your cap or hat, face the flag, and stand at attention with your right hand over your heart.
And so Irene and Herreid Pollock are getting set for the 9B championship, the first of 5 title games from the Dakota Dome in Vermilion. Irene on the year 8-0 during the regular season. They are 11-0 overall. They beat Avon 22-0 in the first round of the playoffs, 53-6 over Trip Delmont, and 30-8 last week, or earlier this week, rather, Monday at Harding County. Herreid Pollock on the year 7-1. Their only loss was to Sully Buttes. That's the third game of the year, 12-8 in Oneida. They are 10-1 on the year. They beat Wilmot 20-12 in the opening round, won at Warner 22-14, and then Monday night beat Coleman Egan 38-12 to get to the Dakota Dome.
When you talk to the Campbell County Express's coach, Coach Sky, Doug Sky, he tells me that the loss to Sully Butte was probably their turning point because Sully Butte is in a higher classification, the 9A, and the Express showed that they could play with Sully Butte. In fact, they thought they should have won that game. And that got them the confidence, and they've taken it all the way now to the state championship game.
And we take it now to the 50-yard line for the coin toss to start this 9B game, as we'll find out which club will get the ball first.
Hey, gentlemen, I want to congratulate you again, once again, on qualifying for the state championship game. We'll be here to enforce the rules, and we expect you to control your ball clubs and play in a sportsman-like manner at all times. The coin toss has been won by White, and they have opted to receive the ball. On this end, White will receive, and Red will kick. Gentlemen, shake hands. Go to your sidelines of a great ball game.
And so Herreid Pollock has won the toss, and they have elected to receive, so we will see the wishbone attack from the Express first, going against the Irene defense. If you're looking for championship experience from each one of these clubs, well, there isn't a whole lot of it. Irene has never been to the title game in Class 9B. Herreid Pollock has been here just once. That was back in 1988, and that was a 9A championship game where they lost to DeSmet 36-26. And just a reminder, this tournament is being conducted under the auspices of the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Jeff, when I talked to Coach Sky before the game, he said we may not see the wishbone in the first series. They're known for running the wishbone, but Coach Sky says, well, maybe we'll run something a little bit different just to see what Irene has. Both teams will try to get the ball to the outside, use a lot of speed. If you're looking for an advantage in terms of depth, I think perhaps that the Campbell County Express have a little bit more. Irene goes about 13 players deep. Campbell County, they substitute a little more freely, especially in the backfield. Coach Sky tells me he can basically substitute 4 players. He can put a whole new backfield in there if he wants, but Irene has been very healthy all season, whereas Campbell County has had a lot of injuries. They've lost several players along the way, and several players out there today are not 100%.
And Irene's defense only gives up about 9 points a game, so Herreid Pollock, the pressure definitely on them to get something going offensively, and they'll have a chance early as they get the ball first.
Jason Pittman is the kickoff man for Irene. Boots a short one. It's taken by Doug Peterson, an up back, and he's brought down quickly. As Joe Sees makes the tackle for Irene, Campbell County will start it off 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
And that won't be the last time you see the ball in Peterson's hands all day. He's one of 3 backs for Herreid Pollock that has gained right around the 500 to 600-yard range throughout the year. They have a very balanced attack offensively.
The quarterback, Gary Grodd, is number 35 in his backfield. Kent Feln.
No wishbone.
There you go. They went with a split back. And the grab right up the middle to Feln. He'll break it outside, and he is nailed for a loss. That was Darren Jensen, number 62, moving up from his defensive tackle position to make the play, and it looks like about a 5-yard loss.
Mike Satter also got there to kind of finish him off that time. And there you see the Irene defense right off the bat, proving why they only gave up about 9 points a game and why the Cardinals were unbeaten during the regular year and obviously unbeaten in the postseason.
Both teams do feature the defense. Now we go to the wishbone. Fallon is the fullback. Nathan Gehring, Doug Peterson, the halfbacks. To give us to the second man through, that's Gehring. And he is met again by a stiff Irene defense. Getting up from the bottom of the pile, Steve Wybenga, number 82. Knifed in there from his defensive end position.
Interesting story on the Gehring, Steve. There are 3 of them on this Herreid Pollock roster, a family of 16 kids. There are a lot of Gehrings running around up in the Herreid Pollock area.
Official has called a timeout. We'll see what that's about. Okay, here we go. 3rd down and 10. Ball on the 32-yard line. And again, a tight formation for Campbell County. Neither team really likes to throw the ball a whole lot, but you might see some play action. Here we go. Grodd back. Man open out here. Seymour hauls it in, and he's got a first down as he's taken out of bounds close to the 40-yard line. Bronson Seymour, number 33, made the catch. Brian Knodel made the tackle for Irene. And that was a pretty nice pass by Gary Grodd.
That was a simple out pattern that time by Seymour coming off the line of scrimmage, and he just simply outran Matt Knodel to a spot on the field, and a nice job that time of getting it to him. And he did a nice job once he got the ball running with it, and a big gain for Herreid Pollock, a team that doesn't throw the ball a lot.
And a big play on 3rd and 10 to pick up the first down. They keep the ball. Grodd is going to pass it again. He's outside the defense, lobs it, and it's intercepted. Looks like Joe Sees was back there, and he picked it off. The ball was lofted, a little too much air under it, and Sees made the interception.
Well, Grodd had 2 receivers out there on that right side as he rolled out looking for them. One of them that time was Kent Phil, number 10, and he had a deeper man down the field. The problem for Grodd that time is he kind of tried to split the difference. He threw it in between his 2 receivers, and the only man there was in a red jersey, Joe Sees, number 16, and so one big play for Herreid Pollock leads to one big play for Irene.
Sees looked a little banged up. We'll see how shaken up he is on the next defensive series. Here comes the Irene offense. Travis Hansen is the quarterback. His running back, Pittman, Knodel, and Nielsen. And he fumbles the snap, it picks it up, and there's more of that defense as Kelly Nielsen is thrown for a loss. In there on defense, Jason Brockle, number 34, got in there from his defensive end position, and it looks like a loss of about 2.
Irene will feature a balanced 4-back attack, and the main guys you'll see are Kelly Nielsen and Jason Pittman. Each rush for over 700 yards during the year. They will run the double wing set, which you'll see a lot of tomorrow night in the double-A game with O'Gorman. You line up one guy on each side, one step back at the line of scrimmage, and a single back behind you. You've got all sorts of options out of that formation. They're in the double wing again.
Nielsen with an 8.9 yard per carry average, so if he gets it, look out. This time the give is inside. Gehring was there on the tackle.
David Reuter, number 21, and there's another one of those options off the double wing. You saw the motion man again that time, Nielsen, and the defense saw that the first time it went to Nielsen right. This time you've got to Reuter coming in off the left, and so you can go all kinds of different directions out of that double wing.
We are just underway, 9:09 left to go first quarter. No score, 3rd and 9 for the Irene Cardinals. They have the ball on the 25-yard line. And this time Hampton's going to pass, has a man out here. It's complete to Kelly Nielsen, but it will be short of the first down.
Actually, he ended up dropping that one, Steve. Never quite had control, and they ruled it an incomplete pass.
It does not really matter because he would have been well short of the first down, and Irene is looking at 4th and 9. They'll probably punt it. Jason Pittman is there.
Well, I think if nothing else, Steve, we're getting a good look at why both teams don't pass very often. We've seen a pass play from each side, neither one of them producing anything positive.
But then again, Jeff, neither team has really gotten outside with a running attack at all. Pittman will hit it at about his 20. Pretty good kick, a lot of hang time. And the ball is fumbled and then picked up. Kent Feldman there had his adventure. Nielsen made the tackle.
Thank you, artificial turf. That is not something you could necessarily say would have happened out of doors, which obviously is where both of these teams are used to playing.
Pretty good field position for Herreid Pollock to start this drive. They're just about at their 40-yard line. And now we'll see if they go to that wishbone and try to establish the running game.
And there it is.
Felln is the fullback, and he's featured pitch back to Gehring. He's trying to get outside, but now cuts it back. And breaking tackles. Look at this tough running. He picked up about 5 yards. In there on the tackle was Travis Van Beek.
Well, Gehring that time simply said, I'm going to make every single red shirt out here touch me before I go down. And literally 8 of the 9 men out there for Irene had to get a hand on Nathan Gehring that time to drag him down. If he had broken more tackles, there was nobody left between him and the end zone.
One thing you do see in 9-man football more often than in 11-man is if a guy can break a tackle, he could be gone because there's less guys out there on the field to chase him down. 2nd down and 5. They give it to the fullback, Felln. And he picks up 2, maybe 3. A host of Cardinals there to stop him. As Darren Jensen, number 62, getting off the bottom of the stack. That will bring up a 3rd down and about 3. And both teams say they're pretty conservative, so I would think the run would be the choice here. Third down, about 2, ball on the 48-yard line.
And this is where the wishbone really comes in handy on these short yardage situations.
Pitch is back to Gehring. He's going to try to turn the corner, cuts it back, and he's nailed. What a great defensive play. Weibinger right there. He had help from Joe Sees, and Gehring is short of the first down, 4th and 2.
Also an excellent job that time pursuing down the line by Kelly Nielsen, who just followed the play all the way down and just stood the man straight up and drove him back, which is something you have to do in a short yardage situation like that. You can't let him fall forward and get the first down, and they did a nice job holding, and Herreid Pollock will have to kick it away.
Chad Pudwell is the punter. And back to receive Matt Knodel. Spiraled kick. Real floater. There's a clip, and there's the flag. Matt Knodel bringing it back, but they're going to move it way back. There was a clip. And we'll look for Paul Ortman, the referee, for the call. This official's crew from Vermilion, so they didn't have to go very far to get today's game.
Flip. Red. On the return.
Paul Ortman with a very succinct call.
That's the other thing about nine-man football is when there are infractions, they're generally easier to see because there are fewer guys out there. There's 4 less men out on the field running around.
And that'll be a 15-yard backup for Irene, and now they're going to be in pretty poor field position, about their 13-yard line to start this drive. Neither team has yet established really anything on offense. We had the one completion for the Campbell County Express, and then Irene picked up the interception. Then we've had a couple of punts. So here we go again. Travis Hansen is the quarterback. Pittman, Knodel, and Nielsen in a triple I formation. Little mix-up on the handoff, and then Knodel gets nailed. Larry Umber was there for the defense. Got a little help from Jason Brockle.
Hansen continues to have problems in his exchanges from center, Steve. That's 2 times now that he hasn't come away with it cleanly, and that doesn't help when you're trying to run short yardage and trying to run something through the middle. It kind of throws the whole timing off.
2nd down and 9, and again they're in the trip I formation. That is Knodel dotting the I. And they're going to pitch it to him. Makes a nice cutback. I take that back. That is Aaron Rudder in there, number 21. 5'9", 145-pound sophomore as they use the running backs to bring in the play, and now Knodel will come back in. Rudder did not get much. Have a timeout on the field. Pittman's going to adjust something.
We mentioned the Irene defense very stingy, only gives up 9 points a game. The offense very bountiful. They average 35 a game, and if you look at their playoff scores, they've been right around that 22. Of course, that was the terrible conditions in the first game against Avon. 53-6 against Trip Delmont in a game that didn't even get into the 4th quarter. It was called by the 45-point rule, and then 30-8 at Harding County, a game they had to travel 497 miles to play this past Monday, all the way up to Buffalo, South Dakota.
And the big play in that game was kickoff return for a touchdown. Yeah, the coach, Brent House said that it was a completion to Spotter, and he's going to be close to the first down, but I don't think he made it, but there's a flag on the play.
Flags could be a face mask, but Satter that time ran about 10 yards across the field. He didn't have the ball. He did a nice job juggling it, but that took away his concentration trying to cut it up the field. And we'll see what the infraction is, and it is a face mask.
A face mask. Getting back to my point about the Irene offense, Coach Brent Muchnell said that 3 touchdowns for them was generally a lot of scoring. They're a real defensive team, but boy, the offense has really got it going this year, and you mentioned a 50-point, 60-point game. This will result in a first down for Irene and gets them out of that tough field position. They'll have the ball now at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
So each side has had a big gainer now. Herreid Pollock did theirs through the air. Irene comes up with one via the yellow hanky. And we're zipping along here, 5:17 to play opening quarter.
give us to the third man through, and that is Kelly Nielsen. And again, the Campbell County defense is there. Larry Umber among those making the tackle. Doug Peterson was there.
Umber almost looked like he was in the Irene huddle that time. He maybe knew what the snap count was or something because he shot through the line of scrimmage, and it was not fooled at all by the play. Stayed at home and did a nice job of dropping Pittman that time, or Nielsen rather, that time for the loss.
A little tough for Irene to try to run right here because they're on the right hash mark, and it's a much tighter field. If they go left and maybe bust it outside, you have a lot more room to run. Knodel in motion. Give inside to the fullback. Look out, here comes Jason Pittman, and he gets close to the first down.
And that's exactly what you're talking about, Steve. He breaks one more tackle, and he's on his way. There was nobody else there after that initial tackle, and he busted almost out for the first down. Really the first time I can remember that Irene has really tried to run straight up the field. They have pretty much been sticking to the outside and have very little success so far.
Gary Grodd made the tackle, and he looked a little bit shaken up. Gary Grodd is also the quarterback on offense, so that'd be a tough loss. Travis Van Beek, the center, brings up the Irene offense. Dan Slowey and Tim Knodel are the guards. They're running behind a big offensive line, and look out. Oh, Pittman busted through and got the first down. A nice tackle made by Kent Felm, but it's going to be a first down. He was originally stopped behind the line, but Pittman's a big guy, senior, 205 pounds, picks up the first down.
Well, Larry Umber and Matt Renner broke through the line that time, and as you said, had Pittman stood up, but Pittman is not an easy guy to bring down at 6'2", 205, and he kept going and got the first down, and Irene now is moving out towards midfield.
Nice little march going for the Cardinals. Coming the other way is Kelly Nielsen, and he has some room. He crosses the 35, and now a fumble. We'll wait for the indication, and it is a Campbell County football. Larry Umber.
Well, you said Gary Grodd was shaken up before. He shook it off that time because he put a big hit into Nielsen. Nielsen was heading for some pretty big yardage when he ran into Gary Grodd, and Grodd just separated him from the football. And the first defensive big play for Herreid Pollock comes up with a turnover. Now they take over on offense, still with no score, 3:42 left.
And very good field position. Started at the 41-yard line. Gary Grodd will bring him up. Playing quarterback now, and he's going to pass. He's looking deep. There's nobody open. Now he's going to run it, and he has some pretty good speed as he breaks it outside. What a great cutback. And he's going to get close to the first down. He picked up about 8 yards. Getting back there on defense was Jason Pittman, number 32, to finally bring him down, but that was some darn good running by Gary Grodd.
Joe Seas also came up from his safety spot to bring Grodd down, but not before Grodd ran all over the field and picked up about 8.5 yards, almost 9 yards. Boy, those 2nd and 1 plays are a lot easier to call than 2nd and 10.
Give is to the last man through, Doug Peterson. He got close to the first down, and then he was.
We'll see where they give him forward progress on this because he got up close to the first down and then kind of cut back. And they ended up losing some yardage, but it looks like they're going to give them forward progress, and they may measure for this one.
Now we get our first chance to guess at the first down. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, they're calling it just short, and it looks like it's about, actually now Paul Ortman says, let's go ahead and measure. Depends on which set of markers you look at. The one on our sideline on this side makes it look like he's a little bit short. The one across the way makes it look like he may just have it by the nose of the football, but the one they're bringing out now with the change is the one that matters. I think he may be just a little short. And he is just a little short.
So it will bring down 3rd and inches. And with the way the Campbell County Express offense goes, you expect some sort of a short yardage run. Give it to Felm, the fullback. He's 210 pounds. You would expect him to pick up 2 inches. But this Irene defense, very tough. Darren Jensen, one of the tackles. Dan Slowey, the other. Then you have Wybenga and Stoddard at the ends.
5 men on the line of scrimmage for Irene.
The give was to Gehring, and it looks like he picked it up.
Needed 6 inches and got about 2 feet, or 2 yards rather, and it is a first down for Herreid Pollock, which is the most important thing. as they cross into Irene territory for the second time in the first quarter.
And they got some pretty good field position. They were moving, and then they had the interception, and that was the end of that drive. As we have just about 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Pitch back. And this is Sean Geigel, who gets nailed. And a big defensive play made by Travis Van Beek.
And again, Steve, I'm a bit surprised that neither side has been able to establish anything on the outside that time. Geigley that time tried the outside, but a whole host of red shirts there, and I think that yardage is going to be had up the middle for both of these teams, at least in the early going, until somebody stops it.
Here comes the pass from Grodd. Now he's going to run it. Uh-oh. Got the corner. Looks like he picked up the first down.
Nice piece of running by Grodd that time, knew exactly where he needed to go, although they're going to say he stepped out now about 1.5 yards before the marker. That's the far sideline from where we are, and so we couldn't tell. The official over there right on top of it says he stepped out at about the 37.5. And so it'll be, rather than 38.5, and so it'll be 3rd and about 1.
Jason Bronco brings the play in, number 34. As Doug Skye was, he told us the truth. He's going to rotate his back. A mix-up, and Grodd ran into his own man, and now he's going to be thrown for a loss. Oh. And I mean thrown. Kelly Nielsen whips Grodd to the turf.
Well, that's what you call adding insult to injury. The insult is the broken play to begin with, where you get mixed up on the exchange. The injury is when you get tossed to the turf that time, and it sets up 4th and long, and it kind of changes the whole game plan now.
Well, Chad Pudwell comes into the game to punt. 4th down and 8. We have a timeout. They're going to adjust some equipment. Grodd almost lost his shirt, so they better put it back on him. Pudwell will do the kicking. Matt Knodel, the junior, will try to return it. Oh, it's not a good kick. Very high, but very short. And that's going to come back with the rotation. Ball is down by Felm, and that punt only covered about 12 yards.
This is Jupiter. Not exactly what you imagined, huh? Same atmosphere, same language, same hairdo. But believe me, Jupiter's an advanced civilization. Just look at the menu. There's beef tenderloin at just 179 calories. That's hardly astronomical. Well, one small steak for me, one giant barbecue for mankind. Beef, real food, Jupiter, Florida.
Just in time. For winter, it's 4x4 month at your local Ford dealer. That means big savings on the totally redesigned four-wheel drive Ford F-Series. Redesigned with an all-new exterior, fresh new interior with available lumbar seats, push-button four-wheel drive, standard anti-lock brakes, plus big winter savings of $2,600. The redesigned 92 Ford F-Series, just in time for winter. See your local Northland Ford dealer now during 4x4 month.
I'm sure we will, but we will take a break after the quarter. Okay. See, they're trying to say something and I can't hear them.
Welcome back to the Dakota Dome, where we have played almost one quarter of the state 9B championship football game. Irene and Campbell County from Herreid Pollock are scoreless. 26 seconds left in the first quarter, and Irene will take over now after a very short punt.
Well, we anticipated two very good defenses, and we've seen two very good defenses so far. Obviously, 9-man games are generally not known for their low-scoring defensive struggles, but we're going to see one here in this championship.
Well, a couple times, Jeff, a player has gotten close to breaking the big one, but the short tackling by the safeties and the defensive backs has prevented anything big. So here we go with Travis Hansen bringing his team to the line. The The give is to Knodel. He breaks the tackle and then is drilled. Kent Felm put the hit on Knodel, who picked up about 3.
Felm got him up top, and Nathan Gehring got him down low. And nice tackling by both sides. Fundamentally sound defensive players on both sides of the ball.
That will probably be the last play of the quarter. And there's the horn. So we will take a break. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. The state championship football game, Irene in the red and Campbell County in the white have both hitting. As we are scoreless to start the second quarter, Irene comes up on a 2nd and 6 from their own 38-yard line. Travis Hansen is the quarterback. That's Nielsen in motion, and the give inside. Jason Pittman, the fullback. Comes right up the middle. Matt Renner made the tackle for Campbell County. Pittman picked up close to 6. So now we're looking at about 3rd and 2. Make it 3rd and 1.
And still, Steve, most of the yardage in the game has come up the middle, which is a bit surprising.
As we talked to both coaches before the game, they talked about getting to the outside with some speed. Here's that triple I formation. Last man through. Whoa, Knodel, he didn't make it. He did not make it. Felm was there, and so was Bronson Seymour, and they absolutely stuck Knodel.
And Doug Peterson got there for a little bit of how do you do as well. So much for yardage up the middle that time.
Boy, if you like defense, you have to love this game so far. That is some big-time hits. Now 4th and 2, and Pittman
also the punter, right.
Gary Grod back to receive along with Kent Felm. Well, they can hit. We'll see if they can run. Pittman will hit the ball at about his own 40, I'll make it 35. That's a better punt than the last one. Very nice. Felm will take it, and he's not going to go very far.
Tim Knodel that time, number 34, charging down the field to make the stop on the special teams.
Travis Hansen with some help as well, and so, well, Campbell County's turn to see what they can do on offense.
We should point out for people, you're going to hear us say Herreid Pollock, you're going to hear us say Campbell County. The school is still referred to officially as Herreid Pollock with the 2 communities, but the people in the 2 communities of Herreid and Pollock want to call it Campbell County to unite the 2 communities as one, and so we'll probably say a little bit of both this afternoon.
Rod gives it inside, and nowhere to run for the back. Was that Pittman?
Looked like Greg Gehring that time, 22. Or no, rather, it was not Greg, it was Nathan Gehring, 82. Had the Gehring right, but wrong one.
That's a good guess, though.
That's true.
2nd and 11 now for Campbell County. They're going backward. And we'll try it again. Grod has shown the ability to throw the ball and also to run off the play action. And here we go. Quick pass to the outside. Not well thrown, but well caught by Branson Seymour. And he gets close to a 1st down.
That's funny, Steve, you say not well thrown, and it certainly was not, but the way it worked out, that pass was almost perfect because Seymour did a nice job of turning around and coming back for it. The defender, unfortunately, was still going where the ball should have been, and so Seymour was able to spin upfield and get the 1st down. So making something good out of something bad that time for Herreid Pollock. And there you see it. Seymour spun around, did a nice job, and then spun away from Matt Knodel, who wasn't really playing bad defense, just he anticipated where the ball was supposed to go, and it's 1st down, Herreid Pollock.
Big give right inside, and that's Felm taking it for a pretty good gain. Both coaches talked about running to the outside for 2 reasons. One is it's a great way to bust a play, and 2, you make the defense run all over the field chasing people, and you hope for some fatigue later on. Both teams do not have a lot of players that play just one way. Both teams play both ways. A lot of guys out there the entire time, and fatigue will definitely be a factor. Here's a give inside, and off Doug Peterson, who cuts it back nicely. Matt Knodel made the tackle.
You know, Steve, you talk about scoreless first quarters, and it's nothing new for Irene in their win Monday at Harding County. They played a scoreless first quarter and ended up winning 30-8 over the Buffaloes. They scored 17 points in the second quarter of that ball game.
Right, that was talking to their coach. He said the Ranchers and Irene were, close, and then a big kickoff return really busted that game open. So here we go with Gary Grodd, 3rd and 3, and he will pass it. Looking out here, incomplete. He tried to get it to Gehring, and the ball was underthrown. So now another 4th down, and here we go again. End of the ball game comes Pudwell. He'll try to punt it.
The punter is getting a workout today, and I must admit I'm a bit surprised. I mean, we expected 2 good defenses, but we also expected the clubs to at least be able to moderately move the ball, and they really haven't been able to do much.
Pudwell's last kick was very short. We'll see what he can do here. Knodel is back to receive.
He's way back there. If that kick gets that far.
Look out, block. Irene got in and blocked it. And Pudwell just had a fall on it. Slowey was there.
Also Mike Satter, number 11. 3 red jerseys converging on the ball. And no chance that time for Pudwell to get it away.
So special teams with a big play for Irene. And tough on Campbell County. They have a short punt and now a blocked punt. And that's the kind of thing that's going to be a real momentum swing. Maybe you get the Irene offense moving the ball now, as they will bring it up. 1st and 10, and they are on the 36-yard line. Hansen's going to throw it lefty. He's got a man out here. It's complete. He hit Mike Satter, and he picked up a 1st down. Quick hitter.
Very simple. Just throw it up there, kind of a floater. Let Satter run underneath it. He hauls it in. He's got good size, too, at 6'2", 180. And once he gets it, he's very difficult to bring down. Now inside the 20, and Irene has a threat mounting.
Into the game comes David Rudder with the play, number 21. 1st and 10, ball on the 19-yard line for Irene. That's their deepest penetration so far. Give inside of the fullback, Jason Pittman. And he picks up a 1st down. He picks up about 3 yards on 1st down.
Pittman's got that classic running style, stays straight up, keeps the legs moving, spins when he feels contact, and is always able, it seems like, to pick up an extra yard or 2 whenever he feels that initial contact. Second effort, very important for Jason Pittman. And again, it's 6'2", 205. Very difficult to bring down.
We have an official timeout right now. They're working on Jason Brockle and adjusting the equipment. Now we're ready to go. 2nd down and 6, ball on the 15-yard line for the Irene Cardinals. They look to get on the scoreboard in a scoreless ball game. 7:03 left, 2nd quarter. We're playing for the 9B state championship. Give inside to Pittman again. Look at him busting tackles. Kent Fellon was there for the defense along with Matt Renner.
Well, what slowed Pittman down that time wasn't necessarily the Herreid Pollock defense. It was his own kind of center there, Travis Van Beek, number 50. Pittman ran right up his back, and that allowed the Herreid Pollock defense to kind of surround him and bring him down for a short gain.
Well, we see what Irene's going to try to do down here is run the ball straight up the middle with Pittman. 3rd down and 2 now. They're in that triple I formation. They give inside. Nielsen, and he's going to bust it in. He will score. Touchdown, Irene.
Nothing fancy here. Breaks the tackle, breaks another arm tackle, and this is a sprint to the outside. 6 points. Kelly Nielsen and Irene on the board first.
A nice cutback he made there on Nathan Gehring, and then the stiff arm got it outside. Now we'll have the extra point. Jason Pittman is the kicker. Saw him practicing before, and it's no good. It's wide, so it will be 6-0. 6:12 left to go, 2nd quarter. You're watching South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. The Irene Cardinal enjoying the action so far as Irene just got on the scoreboard on a touchdown run by Kelly Nielsen. And it's 6-0. The extra point was wide. And so we're going to kick it off. Pittman with a booming kick. Grodd will have to go back and get it at about his own 5, and he's chasing it down to the 2, and now he'll try to bring it back. And he's going nowhere. Big tackle made by Waibenga. Steve Waibenga, and Campbell County's backed up. And Jeff, on that last series, we saw Irene run it inside, and then Nielsen busted outside, and he was gone for the touchdown.
And the key for Nielsen that time was he kind of looked inside a bit, took a step in that direction, and then was able to break a tackle. And once he did that, he just simply outran everyone to the corner, showed the great speed. And Herreid Pollock now finds themselves in a bit of a pickle here on the 7-yard line after a booming kick that time for Irene.
Gary Grodd brings him up. Quick inside handoff. There's some power running by Kent Feln, the 210-pound senior. You're somewhat limited in your play calling down here with your back to your own end zone. Obviously don't want a turnover. Waibenga there for the tackle. And that will bring up 2nd down and 6. As we see Coach Sky talking it over.
Well, the problem here is that you don't want to get down too far because Herreid Pollock does not have much of an air attack. They're going to have to do it on the ground, so they want to try to do something on this possession to keep this game close.
Grodd inside handoff again to Feln. I guess if it worked for Irene, why not try it? A little inside with the fullback.
If they can keep picking up 3 or 4 yards of play, simple mathematics will tell you that every 3 plays they're going to get a first down.
Slowy and Seas made the tackle for Irene.
And in fact, they're going to measure now.
Looks like about 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3.
Well, no, they were calling timeout for something else.
.445 left to go, second quarter. Give inside to the fullback again, Feln, and he did not make the first down. Mike Satter there for the defense. And getting off the bottom of the stack, Jason Pittman. So that brings up 4th down, and it looks like a good 2 yards. And here comes the punter, Chad Pudwill.
Credit Tim Canodal also in there that time for a part of that tackle.
You remember what happened on Pudwill's last punt? It was blocked.
I think he's got to do a quicker job of getting it away this time, and obviously the Herreid Pollock line has to do a better job of keeping the rush from coming, although Irene is not going to bring that many guys. In fact, they only have 4 guys rushing.
They still almost got there. It's a low punt, kicked away from the return man, Canodal. He'll go over and pick it up. Crosses midfield. Look at him breaking tackles, and he was brought down. Bronson Seymour there for the defense. So Irene with, again, very good field position to start this drive.
It's almost been a tale of 2 quarters for the Cardinals. I don't think they got it across midfield in the opening quarter, and it seems like nothing but across midfield in the second quarter so far. In fact, virtually every possession has been on the Herreid Pollock side of the 50-yard line. The block punt is the key, of course.
The block punt, and also as special teams, that poor kickoff return on the kickoff put Herreid Pollock deep in their own end, and they couldn't get it out. So special teams playing importance in this game so far for Irene.
A key possession now for the Cardinals. If they can stick up another touchdown on the board, makes it very difficult for Herreid Pollock, but look at that defense.
Canodal tried to bring it to the outside, then cut it back, and waiting was Jason Brockle. There he is. He had some help from Justin Wessel, and it looks like a yard loss for Canodal. Into the game now.
Nothing doing.
Go ahead.
Nothing doing on the outside for either one of these teams.
David Rudder into the game, speed back, number 21. Pitch to Nielsen. He scored last time he had it. Breaks one tackle, but he won't break the rest. And boy, you talk about your defense now.
Well, that's a late flag down.
We have a man down as Pittman, and I think they're going to get the call on him for something as Campbell County is cheering.
Okay, got a flip. Flip. Yeah. Red. Flip.
Boy, Irene had such good field position, but now they're going backwards.
And the worst part about that for Irene is they didn't even need the clip. They were nowhere close to even needing that block at all. And so that, unfortunately, will back them way up for Cardinal fans. We'll take a look at it again. Here's Nielsen, but watch Bronson Seymour just shoot into the backfield. He doesn't make the tackle, but he does a nice job just disrupting the entire timing of the play. The clip happened about 10 yards down the field, and as we said, had no bearing on the outcome of the play, although it will have a bearing on field position for the Cardinals.
Well, Felton and Seymour, after Brockholm broke up the play, were right there unblocked.
And I'm a bit surprised here, Steve, that they take the penalty. They dropped him for a loss, which would have set up 3rd and long. Obviously, this sets up 2nd and an eternity, but still, I would imagine that Doug Sky has a lot of confidence in his defense, and so I think he's looking at the field position here more than the down.
2nd down and 28 for Irene. Hansen's going to throw it if he can. It's a screen pass, well set up. Pittman has it, but a beautiful defensive play. Kent Felton.
Well, that was outstanding. Really did a nice job. He was on his back, had been blocked, reached out, grabbed an ankle, and brought him down, or that would have been a big gainer. As you mentioned, Irene went for the screen. They set it up very nicely in the middle of the field. But Felton, a heck of a job getting out of fingertip to bring it down, and now it's 3rd and 25, so taking the penalty looks like a good move.
There were 3 blockers there for Irene, and Felton still able to get through and make the play. That is outstanding. 3rd and 25 now for Irene. They're on their own 38-yard line. Hansen is going to try to throw it again. Left-hander, now he's going to run it. There's a flag down.
That'll be a hold.
Hansen is down, and I think well, you never know. Maybe take the penalty. Let him try it again.
Well, I think that perhaps Doug Sky is thinking, well, because our kickoff return was so lousy, we gave them great field position. Maybe if we can keep backing them up, maybe we'll get the ball in good shape. Let's face it, punting on this level is not necessarily always something that's a positive.
Well, the Campbell County players fought originally to decline it, but now they're talking it over. It would set up 4th and forever.
Red.
It is declined.
4th down.
So Pittman's going to have to kick. And back to receive is Kent Felton.
And it'll be 4th and 25, and I think Herreid Pollock is just hoping that they'll get the ball actually inside of what would have been 1st down distance here, and they'll be in good shape. Their return men are setting up at about their own 30, but I would imagine they'll be fielding the ball a little closer to the 35. Unless Pittman really gets into one.
Low snap, he'll get it away. A left-footed boot. It's a pretty good kick. Grodd has the ball, and Irene all over him. And another flag.
Probably a clip or a face mask, but probably a clip.
Boy, the Irene special teams has looked very good so far. Paul Ortman will tell us.
White on the run back.
Boy, that is tough. And while they march it off, we will take a break. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. Back at the Dakota Dome, 6-0, Irene leading Herreid Pollock. 2nd quarter, 1:14 left. And Campbell County, Herreid Pollock, the Express, backed up again with tough field position. They are on their own 11-yard line. And with the time and position, you would think they'd just try to run out the clock here. Special teams have been very, very strong for Irene. They blocked 1 punt. They had a good kickoff that backed up Herreid Pollock earlier in this quarter, and now a clip on a punt. And again, Herreid Pollock with horrible field position. We'll see what Doug Sky comes up with. Gary Grodd brings them to the line. 1st and 10. He will throw it. He will incomplete. Bell was out there running. Number 10, covering for the defense, Travis Van Beek, number 50. Ball a little overthrown. So now 2nd down and 10. And that play did not use up much time. And Irene may well want to use their timeouts. They have 3 left. And try to get some sort of a punt return and maybe set up in the final minute for a field goal or a try at the end zone. 2nd down and 10. Grod is going to throw it again. Oh, he's going deep. Long pass, Seymour. Double covered as Kelly Nielsen was back there. Joe Cease also running down the field. So now 3rd down and 10, and Irene does not have to use her timeouts because the clock is stopped on the incomplete pass. And still 1:03 left. Just a reminder, after this game, we'll have the 9A state championship game. And tonight, Vermilion and Lee go at it in the 11A. And you have to believe this place will be crowded with Hanninger fans. A fumble. Irene has it, and it's a touchdown. Steve Wybenga picked up the ball and ran it in. Here it is, an exchange problem. The hit made quickly. Wybenga just scoops up the ball, runs about 4 yards, and he scores. And now it's 12-0 Irene, and what a huge break that is going in the locker room. You talk about momentum. And Irene now has it. And it looks like they're going to go for 2. They missed the first extra point, so this, if completed, would make it 14-0. Timeout called by Irene. They'll figure out what they want to do. And Coach Brent Muchelnow will talk it over with his team. Doug Sky on the field for Herreid Pollock. And they have to be a little shell-shocked with that last play. We talked about trying to run out the clock, and there on 3rd and 10, they did not try to pass. They tried to hand it off. But the quarterback was nailed trying to deliver the handoff, and the ball popped loose, and there was Weaving, good to scoop it up and take it in. So here's a look. Look at the great defense there. Into the backfield was number 34. And that is Tim Knodel. Broke it up. Weaving scoops it up and takes it in. So Irene taking advantage of a block punt and a fumble. Now leads 12-0, and they will go for 2. Hanson with the throw. Wide open. Completed. Mike Satter for 2 points. And I mean wide open. Here it is. Hanson will play catch with Mike Satter. So now Irene up 14-0. Everything going right for the Cardinals. And Doug Sky is going to have a tough job at halftime. Going to have to bring his team back, get some confidence back. You remember Jeff mentioned that Irene has an outstanding defense. They give up just 9 points a game. They have given up no points in this game. In fact, Campbell County has not even gotten close to the end zone. Just 58 seconds left. And I think, depending on what kind of field position Herreid Pollock has, will determine what kind of play calling we see from them. You know they don't want to give up another turnover deep in their own end. And the special teams has been excellent for Irene. Jason Pittman will kick it off, number 32. Nice to have him kicking it off because, unlike many kickers, especially in the pro ranks, he's an excellent tackler. The short kick, fielded by Peterson. And he takes it out to the 35, so that's decent field position, and Herreid Pollock can try to move the ball. They have 53 seconds. David Rudder was there to make the tackle for Irene. There you see Peterson, 190-pound senior. Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from the coaches. Be very interesting to hear what Doug Sky has to say. As his team finds itself down 14-0. 43 seconds left. Second quarter, 1st and 10, 35-yard line. Handoff. And Nathan Gehring picks up about 7. That will bring up 2nd and 2. Timeout taken by Herreid Pollock. They now have 2 left. Might be a good time for a play-action pass.
No, we're going to do it.
Although Irene's defense has just been excellent. And remember, most of these players out there for Irene, they play both ways. Pittman, Nielsen, Knodel. They all play on the offense and the defense. Also a couple of the linemen, like Van Beek and Slowey. Wiebinga, who already has recovered 1 fumble for a touchdown. 2nd and 2, ball on the 43-yard line. 28 seconds left. Second quarter, Irene leading Herreid Pollock 14-0. This is Gary Grod, number 35, junior quarterback. Got the wishbone, he will throw it. Throws it outside, it's complete. Jason Bauer down the sideline, and he's out of bounds. Picked up a first down, took it down to the 46. Joe Cease there for the tackle, along with Travis Van Beek. That was a well-designed, well-executed play. Now Bauer will sit down and get a rest. Into the game, Sean Geigel. There it is, a roll out and wide open is Bauer, and then he makes a nice little run and gets pushed out of bounds. So now 22 seconds left, 1st and 10, ball on the 46. Herreid Pollock trying to put together a little drive here late in the quarter. Now a wide open formation. Grod is going to run it. Cuts it inside, breaks a tackle. Look at him, he's still going. And he picks up close to 6 with 11 seconds left. And finally, the Herreid Pollock fans have something to cheer about. A flag down. It well could be a face mask. Paul Lordman from Vermillion will give us the call, discussing it with the other officials. With just 11 seconds left, Herreid Pollock basically is down to the deep pass.
Okay. Face mask, defense.
And that will be a march off and put Herreid Pollock in the kind of field position where they can try the Hail Mary, throw it up in the end zone. Not sure exactly what kind of arm Gary Grod has.
Here we go.
But Herreid Pollock has the ball down on the 25-yard line. 1st and 10, but just 11 seconds left, and looks like Campbell County is down to one play to try to get in the end zone. Again, they'll have their 2 receivers out to the left. Nathan Gehring over there. Split far left. And then on the inside is Sean Geigel. Grod trying to organize his players. There's only one back in the backfield. That's Kent Feln. There it is. Oh, big rush. He's sacked. Throws it away. It's complete. Found. There's a flag on the play. The half is expired. and we'll have to sort this one out. The half cannot end on a defensive penalty. Illegal motion on the offense.
Motion, offense. Okay.
So they will refuse the penalty. The half is over, and Irene leads it 14-0. So an outstanding half for Irene. Took advantage of a blocked punt, a fumble recovery. And Doug Skye, the coach for Herreid Pollock, is going to have a lot to say to the Express as he will try to bring them back. They lead at 14-0. And they have to be a little bit shell-shocked as to what has happened. The special teams and the turnovers have been very costly. We will take a break. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. Back at the Dakota Dome, and so far it's been a celebration of sorts for the Irene Cardinals as they lead Herreid Pollock 14-0 in the state 9B championship game, the first of two games this afternoon. Coming up, we'll have Garrettson versus Wessington Springs. Garrettson 11-0, the defending state champs. Wessington Springs 8-3, a real Cinderella story. And then tonight, hometown fans will have a lot to cheer about as their Vermilion Tanagers take on the lead Gold Diggers in the 11A state championship. And then tomorrow, we'll be back again in the evening with Hamlin Parkston, and then Sioux Falls O'Gorman looks to add to an already impressive dynasty of sorts as they take on Huron for the 11AA state championship. Here you see some of the Irene Cardinals band as they perform the national anthem, and then performed a lot of music for their team. Irene taking advantage of a blocked punt that set up one touchdown, and then Steve Wiebinga picked up a fumble as Herreid Pollock was pinned deep in their own territory, about the 5-yard line. There was a messed up handoff, and Wiebinga picked it up and ran it in about 4 yards, and then Irene went for 2 on their second touchdown and picked up the conversion. So now 14-0, Irene leading Herreid Pollock. Irene came into this game undefeated, 11-0. And as you look at the rundown of their scores, they had a shutout over Centerville, a shutout over Hurley-Viborg, and in the playoffs, they had a shutout over Avon, 22-0. Their last game before this one was against Harding County. They had to travel all the way to Buffalo, South Dakota, and that was over 400 miles of travel. It was a close ball game until a kickoff return broke it open for Irene, and they went on to win it 30-8. Irene has been ranked number 2 in the poll for most of the season. They were number 3, then they moved up to number 2. As far as Campbell County, or Herreid Pollock if you prefer, they were ranked 6th coming in. Neither team has ever had a title. In fact, both teams making their first appearance in the final. Herreid Pollock, coached by Doug Skee, lost to DeSmet in the 9A final. Then they dropped down to the 9B class. That was in 1988. Just a couple of seniors on this team were freshmen on that team, so they didn't get a lot of experience playing here in the Dakota Dome. Obviously, Irene adjusted to the surroundings very well, and it's those special teams. You know, they talk about offense and defense, but special teams is a third of football, and in many cases, special teams decide a game, especially between two evenly matched opponents, and that is what we have here today. Both coaches told us they think it's a very even matchup. Both teams like to run the ball. Both teams feature defense, and when you feature defense, special teams can be a very big part, and they were so far today, as the blocked punt led to a touchdown, and then Herreid Pollock had trouble fielding a kickoff and resulted in a very short return. They were backed up, then penalties, and they ended up with the ball on the 5-yard line, and that's when the fumble occurred, and Wiebinga was Johnny on the spot, picked it up, ran it in, and boom, Irene leading 14-0. Just getting handed the stats, so let's take a look. First downs on the Northwest stat board. Cardinals leading at 5-3. Really, the big deal was the one turnover for the Cardinals was they had the blocked punt, which really doesn't show up in the statistics. The one turnover was the fumble recovery, and that was a touchdown. The Express moving the ball pretty well there at the end of the half through the air. They got 47 yards passing, leading in total yards, but the statistic that counts, of course, is the scoreboard. and it's 14-0 Irene. They haven't really marched the ball up and down the field. It has not been much of an offensive show, as the stat board showed. Very little offense from two teams that you would expect a lot of offense from, especially in 9-man football. Well, we'll get ready to bring you the second half. We'll take a short break and then come back. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. And there is number 34 from Herreid, Pollock, and that is Jason Brockle as he's warming up, getting ready for the second half. Express trailing nothing in the 9B state championship game. As I look over a few more of my statistics here, rushing, give you an idea on the Irene defense. Feln, 7 attempts, 13 yards. Gehring, 6 attempts, 17 yards. Grodd, 6 attempts, 16 yards. So the Irene defense pretty much totally stopping the Express rushing attack. Passing, Grodd 4 of 8 for 41 yards. Seymour has been the big receiver. He has 2 catches for 37 yards. And Pudwill, the punter, a 28-yard average is not very good. He has had 1 block and 1 very short punt. For Irene, Knodel, 4 attempts. This is rushing now, 5 yards. So he's been stopped. Pittman, the fullback, has done pretty well. 5 attempts, 25 yards. That's a 5-yard per carry average. And he basically set up the second touchdown with his running, no, the first touchdown rather, he was running on the inside, and then they went outside to Nielsen, who scored. He has 5 rushes for 19 yards. Hansen has thrown 4 passes. He's completed 3, 24 yards. Satter, the big receiver, 2 catches for 21 yards. And Pittman's punting has been pretty good, 36 yards per punt average. Irene yet to take the field again for the second half, as their coach Brent Mutchuk-Naus taking a little extra time to talk to his ball club. I'm sure remind them that there's still a half to play and they have not won the game yet. They're only up 14-0. And the Express, a very explosive team. In fact, as you look at their record,
big enough,
they have scored 52 points, 46 points, 49 points. In their last game against Coleman Egan, 38 points, so they certainly can put the points on the scoreboard. And I wonder if Coach Mutchuk now's got the word that he's got a second half of football here to play, as according to the stadium clock, just 6 seconds left here in the halftime, and Irene is yet to take the field. Coming up after this game, a reminder, we will have Garrettson, Wessington Springs. Garrettson, defending state champs, number 1 in the state. Wessington Springs is the Cinderella story. They are unranked, but in their last game, they beat Sully Butte, a powerhouse in the 9A, and the final there was 42-12. So you get the idea. Wessington Springs can play some football. And now here comes Irene as they reset the stadium clock, give them a little extra time. Be very interesting to see what kind of an offensive philosophy we get from Herreid Pollock. They trail 14-0. They have not been effective running the ball. They did show that some ability to pass the ball late in the half. It looked pretty good. Gary Grodd getting to the outside, throwing some passes. He's also a good runner out of the play-action pass set. It's not what they like to do, but Herreid Pollock is pretty much forced now to try some passing because the Irene defense has been very good against the run.
Brent, you said defense would be the key in the first half, and that proved true. Were you surprised that you guys weren't able to get more, or that Herreid Pollock wasn't able to get more going offensively?
No, I think the first half was kind of a feeling out period, and I think the second half we'll know a little bit better what each team does. I still think it's going to be a defensive struggle, and that's what it's going to come down to. The 2 touchdowns that we made came directly off of defensive plays by us, and that's what we're going to try to keep on doing is play the tough defense and make some things happen on offense from that.
Kind of a carbon copy of your semifinal game. You didn't score a point in the first quarter, and then you come back and you put a few scores up on the board in the second quarter. What do you tell the guys at halftime? Any adjustments at all?
We talked about some things that we have to do with the blocking, some things that we saw that we might do a little bit better. But basically, we're just going to come back out and try to do the things that we do best, and hope that our conditioning has been good enough that we can hang on for the rest of the game.
Okay, thanks very much for joining us, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Irene leads Herreid Pollock 14-0 at halftime in the 9B game. Steve?
So we'll see what kind of adjustments Irene comes up with. Football game of adjustments. You have the people upstairs in the press box looking it over, and then at halftime you make those adjustments based on what you see in the first half. And so far, Irene has liked what they've seen. They lead at 14-0. And again, it's the defense. And you mentioned the point about fatigue. Hope their conditioning is good enough. Irene does not go that deep. They play basically 13 players. Many of their players play on offense and defense. So around about the fourth quarter, fatigue definitely can set in. Especially if Herreid Pollock can get some of those runs established to the outside where the Irene defense has to run all the way to one end of the field and all the way to the other end of the field, and you're chasing people all over the field, and that's the way you get tired. Herreid Pollock there at the end of the half, they went to a kind of a spread formation, a couple wide receivers out to the left. They broke up their wishbone, and it was effective. I would be interesting to see if Coach Sky goes to that a little more here in the second half, maybe right off the bat. Try to open things up a little. Perhaps one way to get to the run is to establish the pass a little bit. Get the defensive backs for Irene dropping back into coverage and then try to run underneath. The Irene defenders, especially the ends and the linebackers, they've been up very close to the line of scrimmage, basically a full front for Irene. And it's very tough to run when you have 6 or 7 players up there at the line of scrimmage. And Irene will get the ball first here in the second half. Getting set to kick it off is Chad Pudwell for the Express. And going back to receive, Knodel and Nielsen. Nielsen already has 1 touchdown, an 8-yard run. Check that, 11-yard run. That was in second quarter.
Steve, I think this is where Irene can really do some damage, getting the ball first in the second half. If they can put up a score right away, that makes it awfully difficult on Herreid Pollock.
Kick will go to Nielsen. Picks it up at his own 20, comes right up the sideline, has some room out here, breaks a tackle, and takes it to about the 36. And there for the defense was Gary Grodd. You can see he's going right back to the defensive huddle. A little unusual for Grodd when he plays quarterback. He has those gloves on. You see he's wearing a knee brace on his left leg.
He has been banged up a few times in this game, and I believe was a little banged up even coming in.
Made some big hits, too, though. So here we go, 1st and 10, Irene. Quick handoff inside. Pittman has some room, crosses the 45 and takes it almost to midfield. That's a first down. Very nice interior blocking by Van Beek and Knodel. Justin Wessel made the tackle for Herreid Pollock.
And it was a nice open field tackle by Wessel that time, or Pittman was on his way for a whole bunch of more real estate. But as it is, it's still a first down, and already Irene knocking on the midfield stripe after just a couple of plays during the second half.
Pittman, for a big guy, 205 pounds, so some good cutback ability there. And for Herreid Pollock, it's time now to dig down, because it's important for them to stop Irene right here. This game could be over. Oh, look at the spin move. Nielsen, and he'll pick up a first down. And only a saving tackle by Gehring prevented him from going all the way.
Well, I don't know if we have that one again, but how many tackles did he break on this play? Just some great running. These Irene ball players really do a nice job spinning out of tackles. Okay, there's one, there's two right there. Keeps spinning, keeps the legs moving, gets through a couple of more guys there, and then finally Gehring will come over from the left of the screen to finish him off. But excellent running that time, and frankly some less than ideal tackling that time from Herreid Pollock, and they're getting backed up already in the third quarter.
They're just not wrapping up, and this is right into Irene's hands. They like to run the ball, and they're running it effectively. They don't have to pass. They keep picking up first downs every time they run it. Pass now. Oh, there's a little shovel pass. And Knodel has some room. He crosses the 30, the 20, cut back, picks up a block, And Grodd will bring him down and save the touchdown.
Well, there's 9-man football right there. You isolate the field, you get one-on-one, and it's just simply one guy with a blocker ahead of him. In that case, Matt Knodel with a blocker ahead of him, trying to outrun the defense, and Knodel takes it all the way down inside the 12.
So 3 plays for Irene. They picked up 3 first downs, all on the ground, 3 different ball carriers. And now they have the ball 1st and 10 from the 12, so they can pick up the first down without scoring. Probably give it to Pittman here. And there he is. Oh, somebody missed the block because Bronson Seymour was right there waiting.
Bronson Seymour is very quietly having one heck of a ball game defensively. He's made a good special teams play. He's been through the line several times from his defensive end spot over there. And number 33, it's hard to miss him. It's 6'3", 190, has played a whale of a ball game defensively for the Express.
So the Express finally stops Irene on first down. Second down now and 9. Pitch back, Nielsen. He's going to throw it. It's intercepted. No, Grodd had it in his hands. Really well read by Herreid Pollock, the defense right there.
Irene almost got the defense by surprise that time because both Express defenders, Grodd was one of them back there, had their back turned to the play and weren't looking to see where the ball was coming from. Grodd turned around just at the last minute and was able to get his hands on it. Should have picked it off, but instead it goes as an incomplete pass.
Try to get the ball to Wiebinga. He already has 1 touchdown on a fumble recovery, and here's that triple I. 3rd down and 9 for Irene on the 11. Last man through is cut down. Gave the ball to Rudder rather. Seymour again there for the defense. And a short pickup will bring up 4th down. And at this point, I think Irene would probably be inclined to go for it.
I think if you're Brent Muchelthouse here, you pretty much say, let's see if we can do something here, because field goals are not necessarily consistent at this.
Well, they are going to kick it.
Although Pittman is a decent kicker, he hit 24 of 29 extra points, and this one really not much farther than an extra point.
Left-footed kicker is Jason Pittman. Wiebinga is the holder. High snap. It's slow. Now, the timing was thrown off by the high snap. So that's a break for Herreid Pollock, and they need them now. They have not had very many in this game.
We'll take a look at it again. Again, Wiebinga is the holder. We'll watch the snap. It kind of floats back there. He takes a little bit of time getting it down, and then really, I don't think it was ever down cleanly, and the kick right straight into the line. That's one of those where you block it just by standing there.
So here comes the Express. 1st down and 10, and Jeff, at the end of the half, they got some effective passing. I would look for them to try to maybe do a little more of that. They've had real trouble running the ball as they give inside to Peterson, and he breaks a tackle and then is brought down. Joe Sees there for the defense.
I do think, Steve, the one thing you don't want to do if you're Doug Sky is chuck the game plan too quickly, because you still have a lot of time left. 8+ minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and 2 touchdowns certainly is by no means insurmountable. So I think at least for another couple of series, you want to continue to try to do what got you here, and that's run the ball. Then, as time starts running out in the 3rd, maybe think about putting it up some more.
2nd down and 5. Wishbone offense for the Express. Give inside. As Gehring, the ball carrier, he picked up, well, close to 3. That will bring up 3rd and 2.
And again, that's all each of these coaches asks for, is just to have 3rd and short, and they like their ability to run the ball inside, although neither team has seen a quality defense like the one on the other side today.
We'll see how many players Irene puts up at the line of scrimmage here. Linebackers very tight, especially in the middle. Travis Van Beek, give inside, and I don't think he made it.
Well, that was Grodd trying to just go right behind the center that time. And he didn't get very far at all. I don't even think they're going to measure. They won't. It's 4th and a yard.
So here comes Pudwell again, and again a chance for the Irene special teams to make a big play.
And don't rule out the fake here because Gary Grott is the up man in front of Pudwell here. And, of course, he's the quarterback and can do a lot of things with it. So we'll see what, and they are going to kick it.
That's a low kick. Coming back the other way. This is Knodel. Still on his feet.
Wow.
And he is into Herreid Pollock territory. Peterson made the tackle. We're going to take a break. 14-0. Irene leads it. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. Good field position for the Irene Cardinals as they start this drive. 7:04 left, third quarter, and Irene leads Campbell County 14-0. The ball is resting on the Campbell County 44-yard line.
One interesting note here, Steve, as I'm looking over my notes, Irene has yet to trail in the postseason in 3 ball games, and they certainly are following that storyline today. Keep in mind we've got Garrettson and Wessington Springs coming up a half hour after the conclusion of this one. That one will be for the 9A championship.
So Travis Hansen brings up his offense. Jason Pittman, the fullback. He is Knodel and Nielsen in the backfield, and they were running very well earlier in this half. Pittman with the ball, and he will a fumble. And it went out of bounds.
Big break
so
for
close.
Irene, yep. And who was there to wrap him up initially but Bronson Seymour, number 33.
Peterson had a shot at it, number 44, the linebacker, and could not quite come up with it. And that is a big break for the Cardinals. Second down now. You lost about 2 yards.
But it could have lost a lot more, including the football.
Tough exchange, going deep with a pass. It's intercepted. Gehring coming back the other way. He has a lot of room. Crosses the 40 and takes it down to the 34-yard line. Hansen made the tackle, the quarterback. Ball was underthrown. Gehring turned around just in time.
Boy, Nathan Gehring, gee, what's this thing? Turned around right there in his hands, and all he had to do was catch it, and he had a lot of room to run. Watch Gehring, 82, turn around here. Oh, hey, there's a football right there. I better catch that thing, and he does. He does a nice job bringing it back upfield. When you get guys that go both ways, you get guys who now shift into the offensive mode very quickly. Hansen did a nice job to bring him down, but that's that big play Herreid Pollock was looking for.
Satter had some room if the pass could have been delivered. Peterson gets the handoff on the inside and makes some good yardage on the inside running. Making the tackle was Darren Jensen, but the pickup was a good 5 or 6 yards, and that's a huge momentum boost right there for Herreid Pollock.
It's really been feast or famine for both clubs today offensively when it comes to throwing the ball. It's either led to a big gain, or it's led to a loss, or an interception, or a penalty, but it's been feast or famine.
Peterson again with the ball, and he's going for a loss there. They moved Peterson to the fullback position. He usually plays at a halfback, and Fallon is the fullback, but they kind of switched him around there in the wishbone set.
Dan Slowey, 52 that time, did a nice job getting through the line to wrap him up. Kelly Nielsen, 22, also there to finish him off. Inside 6 minutes to play third quarter.
Big play coming up. Third down, 5 yards, ball on the 30. And Herreid Pollock has to capitalize on that turnover. Now Fallon goes to the fullback. You got Peterson and Gehring in the backfield. Rod, the quarterback, is going to throw it. Has a man open. It's tipped and incomplete. He tried to get it to Seymour, and Bronson could not quite haul it in.
And look at Doug Sky on the far sideline, just holding his head, both hands up on top of his head, saying, oh, geez. We'll take a look at it again. Grott has had some problems today, putting some zip on the ball. This one floats out there. Seymour gets his hands on it about 47 times there and then knocks it back over his head. Luckily, it wasn't picked off, but I think you got to go for it here if you're the Express.
And they will. 4th down and 5. There's a well-designed play. Seymour was out there, would have made the first down, couldn't quite catch it.
The pressure now on the Irene defense.
Grodd will throw it again. Tried the same one. They go out and up. Seymour.
Oh, and a flag. They will get the first down. Almost a fantastic catch by Seymour that time, but they'll rule interference, and Herreid Pollock will hang on to it now down inside the 10, I believe, or right around the 10.
They ran the out and up. They sent Seymour in the same pattern he ran the previous play, but then the pump fake, and he took it down the sideline. The pass is ruled incomplete.
Pass is incomplete. Pass interference, defense. Okay.
Apparently, just to clarify there that it was not caught.
Darn near caught.
It was darn near caught. That was a heck of an effort that time by Seymour.
Tried to pull it off the turf.
And where are they going to set it down? The flag was thrown about the 10, but they're going to mark it off apparently from the line of scrimmage.
It still will be a first down, and that's the key. It was 4th and 5, so they'll pick up 15 yards.
So they'll set it down at the 15 then.
Big break for Campbell County.
We'll take a look at it again. Watch the effort by Seymour as he stretches his frame out there.
Boy, that's a tough call.
That is a very tough call, Steve. If you see where the official is, you'll see he was trailing the play.
It looked like Kelly Nielsen was just running for the ball.
That was a very tough call.
So Grodd sets him down, pitch back. Gehring going to try to turn the corner. Didn't quite get there. Mike Satter. And there's a flag, and it looked like holding coming out and leading the play, and we'll see if that's the call.
Here's Paul Ortman. Clip.
White.
Boy, that really hurts.
That has been the call du jour so far today, it seems.
You know, here they get the big play on the penalty. They get the first down, and then on a first down play, boom, a clip, and it's back 15 yards.
Well, about the only positive thing you can say if you're a Herreid Pollock fan right now is at least it's still first down. We'll take a look at it again, see if we can find the clip for you. Gehring is taking it right side. Well, there's a hold. I guess they call that a clip. That looks like a hold, but anyway, it's involving the back of a man, and in that case, the man was Travis Van Beek, number 50. Take your pick, clip, hold, either way. It's a penalty, and it goes against the Express.
Okay, here comes that spread offense. Bauer and Gehring will go left. This was the same offense we saw at the end of the second quarter. It's 14-0 Irene. Shotgun, Grodd, big pressure. They might have a screen set up. They try to throw to Peterson, and he has it.
Nice catch. Whoa. Excellent defense that time by Van Beek, number 50, who was shadowing Peterson, 44, and Peterson just simply fought him off and got the ball. We'll take a look at it again. Again, a floater from Grodd as he tries to elude the pressure that time from Tim Knodel. And there's two guys simply wrestling for the ball, and Peterson comes away with it. And a big play for Herreid Pollock, although it's still second and long. 13 to go on the 19.
12-yard completion. No one is going to confuse Grodd with John Elway with those passes. They're really floating, and of course he was under pressure there. Here we go, shotgun formation again. The wide open, the ball's on the ground. Grodd picks it up, eludes some tacklers, is going to throw it. That could be picked off. Knodel didn't get there, but it's incomplete.
A huge break for Herreid Pollock that time. And Grodd knows it too. He's kind of gathering himself over there, trying to give himself a little pep talk as he comes back to the huddle.
So tough for a quarterback who's right-handed to try to roll left and then throw across the grain like that and get any kind of zip on the ball, and that ball was floating and short. Well, another in a series of big plays now for Herreid Pollock on 3rd and 13. They've got to get it all the way down to the 5-yard line for a first down. With as aggressive as the Irene pass rush is, a draw might not be a bad call here.
Draw or a center screen.
3rd and 13, again the shotgun. Gehring out there to the left, so is Bauer. Grodd, big pressure, throws deep, and it's, almost had one of those Hail Mary tip passes. Bauer was there, so was Seymour, but so was the defense. Sees was back there, Nielsen was back there.
Yeah, Seymour that time tried a volleyball move. He tried to set it that time for Jason Bauer, but didn't quite get enough oomph on the ball and wasn't able to get it back to Bauer, who was standing at about the 2. And they'll go for it on 4th and 13.
Bound and Bauer will bring in the play.
They've had some guys flash open the last 2 times. It's just a question of Grod getting him the ball.
Well, he's been under pressure. The timing on the passes has not been there because of the pressure. Shotgun formation, low snap, he'll roll. There's the pressure. There's
Peterson.
the throw.
Up.
Intercepted. Well, he laterals it. And there's a fumble.
Oh.
And Herreid Pollock had a chance but did not make the play. Now, okay, because Irene has the ball, they'll keep possession. I don't see any flags, so the play stands as it went. And talk about a wild play.
Talk about going from the penthouse to the basement that time for Van Beek. Number 50 makes a tremendous play, stepping up here for the interception. But then, I don't know what he's thinking about here. Just lay down with it. You got the ball. He tries to pitch it back to Pittman. Pittman, who's usually sure-handed with it, drops the ball. A mad scramble. 54 that time. Matt Renner with a chance to fall on it for Herreid Pollock. He can't do it. And Irene gets it back in a mad scramble. And I guarantee you, if the coach for Irene, Brent Mucklenaus, has a chance to talk to Mr. Van Beek, he's going to say, hang on to that ball, go down with it.
Had Renner made the recovery, it would have been a first down because the ball changed possession, so it wasn't a question of making it to the yard marker. Fumble! Falls on the ground, and I think Irene got it back again. Boy, total mix-up in the backfield. And we will unpile it, and yes, Paul Ortman tells us it's still Irene ball, and they even picked up a couple yards. And suddenly, after a pretty conservative first half, boy, the ball's all over the place here in the second half. 3:21 left, third quarter, and Irene leads at 14-0, and down on their own end, they have to hold on to the football.
I'll tell you, so far, if the Express didn't have any bad luck, they wouldn't be having any luck at all today. Nothing is bouncing right for Herreid Pollock. 2 plays in succession where they had a chance to fall on it, and neither time they're able to do it, and Irene somehow manages to hang on.
And if you're Coach Muchok now, you're saying, let's be conservative, let's just do a nice little handoff here. Just hold on to it. Pittman has it.
You see him cover up with both hands going into the line that time.
Gehring made the tackle. I think Coach of Irene would be very happy with us. Just a punt. Get it out of here. Let's go play some more defense. 3rd down and 8.
I would be surprised, and I've said that a lot, and I've turned out to be surprised, but I would be surprised if Irene puts the ball up here given the last couple of plays, but they may think that they're catching Herreid Pollock looking for the run as well, and we'll see what Brent Muchok has up his sleeve here.
Tight formation. Hansen will throw. There you go. You're surprised. Nobody open, really. It's thrown out of bounds. The ball was caught by Nielsen, but he was out of bounds.
That area of the field was very crowded over there.
There is a flag.
In the area where generally you have holding, right there in the center of the line. We'll look to Paul Ortman for the call.
If it's against we have an
eligible man down the field. So it'll be loss of down, and they'll decline the penalty anyway because it was incomplete.
Legal equipment. Red.
Equipment violation. Must be illegal equipment. Well, usually the mouthpiece is the thing that gets you a penalty.
Maybe he's running his pumps.
That'll bring up 4th down. Oh, yeah, going to decline the penalty.
You'd think. It is declined, so they are going to force him to kick. And Herreid Pollock should get decent field position out of this. And right now, I think maybe Brent Muchok, the coach from Irene, is maybe just happy to have his defense on the field now instead of his offense.
Yeah.
It's been kind of wild and woolly with the guys in red on offense.
Gehring and Grod will go back to try to receive it. Pittman will do the kicking. 4-man rush. Left-footed boot is not very good. It's short and high. And there's your good break for Irene. Gehring fielded it and then got nailed.
But still, you can't argue with the field position for Herreid Pollock. They'll take it over on their own 46 when we come back.
And a reminder, you're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. 2nd down and 6 for Herreid Pollock. Minute 20 left. 3rd quarter. And they're trailing 14-0. Peterson has a hole, breaks a couple tackles. He'll have a first down as he takes it inside the 40-yard line. On the tackle, Mike Satter. He got some help from Joe Sees. Tell you, for a safety, Joe Sees gets up and plays the run pretty good.
He does. Most of the linemen and all of the players for Irene have done a nice job stringing out the line of scrimmage, as Herreid Pollock now will, well, they're signaling time both ways. I don't know if that means an official's timeout or whether both sides are taking time, but anyway, we have a break in the action as both coaches come out to talk to their players, but you're seeing Peterson more and more and more now for Herreid Pollock as picking up yardage and trying to get something going becomes more and more crucial. He obviously is their go-to guy in the situation, and we're going to continue to see him until Irene can do something to stop him.
Peterson is a 190-pound senior, 5'8", built low to the ground, a stocky runner, power runner. And with Irene players playing both ways, fatigue becomes a factor, and you know, bring out Larry Zonka and let him go. That's tough to bring down those big backs.
Peterson has had a very good postseason if you're thinking about what's he done so far. 128 yards on 26 carries for 2 touchdowns, a running variety and a catching variety. That in the first game, the winner over Wilmot. In the second game, Peterson caught the game winner with about less than 2 minutes to play against Warner, and then against Coleman Egan. Peterson with 82 yards on 14 carries and a touchdown. He also recovered a fumble for a touchdown for Herreid Pollock. They don't care how they get one. They just want to get one in the end zone right now.
First down and 10, the ball on the 40. And while the first half was played almost entirely in Campbell County side of the field, it seems like the third quarter has been predominantly on the Irene side of the field. Pitch back. Goes to Geigel, and he is going to be dropped. There's a fumble, and Irene has it, and he could get up, but he's going to stay with it. And if the penalty is against Herreid Pollock, Irene has another fumble recovery.
The flag was thrown by the referee, Paul Ortman, which generally would indicate an offensive foul. Some sort of a motion penalty, because it was thrown literally as the ball was being snapped.
Nielsen just stripped the football.
And you heard Paul Ortman's call. It was motion against Herreid Pollock, and obviously Irene will decline that penalty and take the football.
So just when it looked like Herreid Pollock might be able to get something going, another turnover. As the Irene defense has come up time and time again with the big play. They had the interception, they had a fumble recovery, and now another fumble recovery, and the special teams had a block kick. Ball is on the 48-yard line. Under a minute left, third quarter. And I think Irene will be content to run a little bit of ball control here. The give, and a drop for a loss. That was Knodel carrying the football, and he was dropped. Jason Brockle made the tackle. That's a loss. Bring up second down and 11.
And what will probably be the final play of the third quarter here, assuming that Irene keeps it on the ground and keeps it inbounds.
Be a good time to give it to Pittman, maybe. Run the fullback a little bit. He was an effective runner earlier in the game. They're going to throw it. Hansen drops, looking deep, going deep, and it's tipped and incomplete. Tried to hit Steve Wiebinga on a crossing pattern. There were some defenders in the area. Hansen showed a little zip on that pass.
Very crowded, though, the area he decided to throw it into. Ball was up for grabs, and we got 10 seconds to play in the third.
With only 9 men on the field, when you have a pass play, you have not many guys out in the pattern. There's maybe 1 or 2, or probably at the outside, 3 guys to throw to.
And generally more defenders there than offensive personnel.
Third down and 11. Well, they threw on second down. Will they throw on third down? Yes, they will. Up, shovel pass. It's complete to Knodel, who loses yardage.
Well, they were just lucky to make that exchange because Matt Renner was in there to wrap that up, and I think is that Renner on the field still holding his leg? Two guys
Two
down
players
now.
hurt.
Both holding knees. Keep in mind, these players not used to playing on this surface, which presents its own hazards injury-wise, especially to your knees.
Brockle is one of the men down, and the other one is Feln.
the other one, as the quarter's over. And we'll see if we can look at it again and try to figure out what happened to these two guys. Renner, 54, is now up. Feln is getting up. May have just had the wind knocked out of him. We'll see.
Well, Feln has a knee brace on his right knee, and he's favoring a leg.
He is coming off on his own power, which is nice to see. Brockle, 34, also limping off.
The problem with the turf, the artificial surface, is your feet grab, and when you're hit, there's nowhere to go. There's no slide like you would get on grass. We have completed 3 quarters. Irene leads at 14-0. We'll be back with the 4th quarter after this short timeout. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championship on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. 4th and 13 for Irene. Jason Pittman in to do the punting. Cardinals leading Herreid Pollock 14-0 as we begin the 4th quarter. Gehring is back to receive along with Grodd. Left-footed boots, a high booming kick. That's a nice kick. Grodd fields at his own 20, and he's going right down. As good defense by Irene. Rudder was there, and Nielsen was there.
Well, David Rudder that time, the 5'9" sophomore, did a nice job hauling his 145-pound frame down the field to put the ramps on Mr. Grodd. And again, Herreid Pollock will start in the shadow of their own end zone on the 20-yard line. And they've got 11:51 left. That's it. It's the final quarter now, and they have come up with nothing on the scoreboard.
Grodd brings them up. He's got Peterson, Gehring in the backfield. Fell in there. He was shaken up on the defensive side. Peterson gets the ball, cuts back, and picks up a couple. Slowey was there for the defense. Number 52, the 200-pound senior tackle.
I think if you're on defense for Irene right now, you're content on letting them try the short running plays into the line, because they may pick up some yardage, but they are taking a lot more off the clock every time they do that. And they still need 2 scores.
That's true, Jeff. For them to march down the field, and in this case they'd have to go 76 yards, could well take most of the 4th quarter.
And they'd have to do it twice.
Is going to throw, lobs it out here. It's complete to Feln. Nice catch. Takes it over the 40. He has a first down. Nielsen with the tackle, and Feln ran pretty well for a guy that was shaken up a couple plays ago.
And that by far was the nicest pass we've seen Gary Grodd throw this afternoon. Put it right on the numbers of Kent Feld that time. And Feln did a nice job hauling it in and taking it down out past the 40, out to the 42.
So 1st and 10 for the Express. They're not dead yet, but they do trail 14-0. Handoff. Gehring being dragged, or dragging a tackler. Weavinga went for a ride on that play.
Little equipment adjustment there for Gehring when he gets up.
Travis Van Beek made the tackle. Second down and 8. And now closing in on 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Grodd rolling out. He has a lot of room if he wants to run it, and he will. Big hit put on by Van Beek.
But a first down.
Grodd showing the good running. And Jeff, didn't he have gloves on earlier in the game?
I think what he does is I think he wears them on the defensive side, but then takes them off on the offensive side to get a better feel for the ball.
Rare to see a quarterback wearing gloves, and especially indoors where you don't have to contend with any kind of weather.
Generally, with the guys that wear gloves, it's generally a habit thing, and they'll do it regardless of where they're playing.
Fumble! Oh, Grodd came up with it. That's the first good break for Herreid Pollock.
Maybe he had to go back to the gloves.
Yeah. Mix up on the exchange, and the worst kind of fumble for a quarterback, pops straight up in the air, and you're just waiting for it to come down while players are jumping around all around you. But Grodd was able to come up with the ball. Brings up 2nd down and 10, and now under 10 minutes to go. And I think Irene has got to believe if we can make them have to march play after play, as long as they don't give up the big play, and Grodd will try to throw it here. Looking for the out pattern. Feln is down there. There's the pass, and it's complete. No! Kent Felm had it in his hands and dropped it.
Had a lot of time to think about it on the way down as this one went way up in the air and came down. But Felm, as he jogs back to the huddle, is thinking one thing: I should have caught it. That would have been a huge play.
Grodd put the ball on the money. It took a while to get there, but it was on target. And that brings up a tough 3rd and 10 now. Tight formation again for the Express. And the Cardinals kind of drop into a pass kind of defense. They're expecting the pass. Grodd rolls out, pressure, and he's sacked. Big defensive charge, Mike Satter. And that's a huge loss.
Well, not too much you can say here except great defense. 62-11. Satter and Jensen that time in the backfield very quickly. Make it very difficult for Grodd, who's scrambling for his life, has to cut it back up the field, and nowhere to go. Loses a huge chunk of change, and it's 4th and 25, and they got to kick it here.
Yeah, tough call for the coach, but you have to send in the putter. Hunter, and Pudwell is in there. 4th and 23. He'll kick it. Pretty good kick. It's going to get away from the receivers. Now it takes a bounce about the 30. Goes inside to about the 25-yard line. So Irene will be on offense when we come back. We'll take a short timeout. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. 8:37 left to go, 4th quarter in the 9B State Championship football game as Irene leads Herreid Pollock, the Campbell County Express, 14-0. Irene has the football, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. And now the enemy of Herreid Pollock is the clock. Travis Hansen brings up his team. He's the quarterback.
This would be an ideal situation for the Express defense to hold. They would get the ball back in good shape.
Inside handoff, Pittman spinning away from tacklers, and he picks up over 5 yards.
Pittman obviously with other ideas. 2 advantages to running straight up the field here. You've got a runner like Pittman who can pick up the yards. And second of all, you're going to just keep grinding the clock down because they're not going to stop it. You're going to have to rely on Herreid Pollock to use some of their 3 timeouts that still remain.
Wessel made the tackle on that last play, and Reuter comes in with the play, a timeout. Official has to spot the ball. And they'll wind the clock, and be close to 8 minutes left when Irene snaps this play. They're in their triple I formation with Pittman, Reuter, and Knodel, or Nielsen rather. Give is inside, and Nielsen fighting tacklers as he goes. Looks like a human pinball there, bouncing off 2 or 3.
But still not a first down, so still the Herreid Pollock defense is doing their job.
Doug Peterson made the tackle as he's been a strong player on both sides. So now 3rd down and 2.
Big play for the defense here. Plain and simple. If you hold them, you get a chance with some good time left to try to dig into that 14-0 lead. If you don't hold them, you're looking at a long afternoon.
Power I. Pittman has the first down. Didn't get much, but he didn't need much.
Well, if Irene holds on to the ball, they take at least another 2 or 3 minutes off the clock now, even if they have to punt it away. Which would give Herreid Pollock the football back no sooner than about the 5-minute mark of the 4th quarter, needing 2 touchdowns to tie the game or win the game with a 2-point conversion.
And the Irene Brain Trust test feel pretty good about turning it over to their defense. With a 14-point lead, this is not a defense that gives up points in bunches.
They've given up just 14 in 3 postseason games.
1st down and 10. Pitch back. Reuter cuts it back, picks up about 3. Matt Renner was there to make the tackle. And the clock runs now. 6:48 left, fourth quarter, and Herreid Pollock has 3 timeouts. And they're going to have to start thinking about using one of them.
And Steve, you look over at the Herreid Pollock bench, and there's not a lot of activity over there. They're basically just standing, watching, saying, there's not much more we can do over here. The guys in the field are the ones that have to do it now. There's no more strategy. It's just a case of tackle these guys, get the ball if you can, maybe on a turnover, but something's got to be done if you're the guys in the white shirts.
Hansen gives it to Knodel. He breaks 1 tackle. Nielsen, rather. Picks up about 4. Umber was there for the defense. Brings up 3rd down and 4. So here it is, a big play for the Express. Boy, a play-action pass here would be something else, wouldn't it? Because you know all the Express defenders are going to be charging the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 4.
You know they'll be looking for something with Pittman up the middle, more than likely.
And he'll get it. And he stopped.
They did stop him. But it'll still, as we said, it'll be about 5 minutes left on the clock by the time they get their hands on the ball again, because it's 5:25 and rolling.
Good play by the defense. Matt Renner got in there, stuffed that play. That will bring up 4th down. Irene, obviously, in no hurry to get the play out there. We'll see if they're going to kick it. I would think they would. 4th and 1. They may decide to go for it, though.
Either that or take a delay penalty here. Let as much time run off the clock as you can, because it's inside 5 minutes now.
Knodel brought it in. Pittman is the punter, and you remember he's also the fullback, so you can't tell by who's in there.
Now they're going to kick it, it looks like.
Yeah, they're going to kick it. Grod will go back, and it looks like...
And they are going to take the delay. All the way down.
Delay. Red.
All the way down to 4:46 remaining now. So if nothing else, the Irene offense did their job exclusively from the standpoint of killing some clock.
They picked up the 1st down, 1 first down, and that was what they needed to do. I'm a bit surprised Herreid Pollock isn't going to try to block this punt, that they are setting up a return. They have Gehring and Grod back.
They will have 4 men up on the line. And they'll have a man out on each side blocking the wingman trying to come down and make the tackle, and then a man in the middle of the field and 2 receivers deep. And only a one-man rush, really.
Pittman hits a good one. It's deep. Grod from his own 28 gets up the sideline and pushed out of bounds close to midfield. He got to the 45. So Herreid Pollock will come out on offense when we come back. You're watching the Boys Football Championships on Coda Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. 4 minutes, 37 seconds is all that stands between Irene High School and a state 9B football championship. Cardinals leading Herreid Pollock 14-0. And Herreid Pollock will have the football when we resume play here in the 4th quarter. And with the time and the score, they're going to have to spread their offense a little bit, and they are. They've gone to the 2 wideouts.
You may not see Grod under center the rest of this ball game. Maybe he may run exclusively from the shotgun the rest of the way.
Bauer and Gehring turn into the wideouts. Quick pass, out pattern, incomplete. Tried to hit Bauer.
And that, in a nutshell, really is the way it's gone for Herreid Pollock today, Steve. They have had chances, and they've had several chances, actually. But whether it be a ball going through the guy's hands, I'm thinking of the pass to Felm over on the far side a little bit earlier in this half. They just haven't had the complete chance to execute like they have coming into this game, and it's been kind of a dollar short for Herreid Pollock so far, but they still have 4:33 to try to do something.
2nd and 10. Grod drops, looking the other way, and it's complete. Pass taken by Justin Wessel.
And they'll get a face mask tacked onto that. So that'll become a huge gain.
That was a well-done play. Grod dropped, rolled out a little bit.
Red.
Wessel ran the simple down and out, caught the ball, took off, got face mask, and turns into a big pickup.
Now we'll take a look at it again. Garage straight back, one of the few times he's taken a straight drop today. Lays it out there nicely. Nice throw and a catch that time, and the face mask penalty at the end there. It'll tack on huge yardage, take it all the way down inside the Irene 30 down to the 25.
First and 10. Harriet Pollock, 25-yard line.
And when you're operating against a hostile clock, that's exactly the kind of thing you need.
They still have their 3 timeouts. Grodd now under center, hands it off, and Felton is going nowhere. Tried to catch the defense in some sort of a pass.
Chris Gusted
formation,
that time, 48, did a nice job shooting through the line to bring him down. Big defensive play for Irene.
So that will bring up second down and 10. No gain on that play. Ball's on the 25-yard line. 4 minutes left, fourth quarter. Grodd drops back, looks for the screen, going deep, and it is overthrown. Tried to hit Justin Wessel down in the corner of the end zone, and the ball was overthrown.
Key to that play that time was the play of Joe Sees. The safety came up and put a bump on Wessel that time, kind of delayed his pattern a bit, and Grodd aired it out where Wessel should have been, but because of the play by Sees, the ball actually looked like it was overthrown.
Obviously 2-down territory. It's third down and 10. A field goal not going to help Harriet Pollock at this point. They're going to go with a tight formation. Maybe try to pick it up on 2 plays. Grodd drops. Throws it out, and it's... Oh! Boy, he tried to hit Bronson Seymour. Bronson was open. The pass was well thrown and just dropped.
We saw Bronson almost make a spectacular catch earlier in the game on a ball he probably shouldn't have caught. This one, he might have tried to get a little bit fancy with it. We'll see. Grodd, again, does a nice job eluding the pressure. Watch Bronson stick one arm out here and just isn't able to corral it back into the body. Looked like he should have had that one, but Harriet Pollock now has the ball game facing him. 4th and 10 with 3:44 to play, trailing by 2 touchdowns.
That's a catch that needed to be made for Harriet Pollock. 4th down and 10. Grodd, straight drop. Now he'll roll. He's pressured. Throws it left-handed. It's complete to Felton. He crosses the 20, and he's going to be short. He's about 4 yards short of the first down. Over there for Irene, Darren Jensen.
Well, Grodd really showing some acrobatic ability here, a la Harry Houdini, getting out of this one, and then left-handed, end over end to Felton, who hauls it in, but kind of runs out of room as the red jerseys swarm him under. He comes up well short of the first down marker, and Irene takes over with 3:34, and they're about a first down away from wrapping this one up.
Clock is moving. 14-0 Irene. Jeff, I would really be surprised if you see it pass now.
Well, I think you're going to see 2 things here. A lot of Irene running and a lot of Harriet Pollock stripping the ball and then calling timeout.
Travis Hansen gives off. Pittman picked up a couple. And we'll see if they use their timeout yet.
And there's timeout number 1 coming up momentarily.
There it is.
As Doug Skye signals feverishly from the sideline.
We will take one as well. Irene leads at 14-0, 3:01 left. You're watching the South Dakota Boys Football Championships on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. Back at the Dakota Dome, the folks from Irene beginning their celebration a little early. Still 3:01 left, fourth quarter, but their Cardinals in control, 14-0. They lead Harriet Pollock for the 9B State Football Championship. Irene now has the ball, 2nd down and 6 from the 24-yard line. As Travis Hansen brings his team up. Got Pittman and Knodel, and gives it to Pittman again, and he's going to get a first down. And that could just about do it. Harriet Pollock will be forced to take another timeout.
And of course, in high school and college ball, the clock stops momentarily on every first down so they can move the chains, and then as soon as they get the ball spotted, they will crank it back up.
Pittman has a equipment adjustment.
Herreid Pollock seems content now not to at least stop the clock here. And so Irene will be very deliberate now in the huddle, take as long as they can. It'll be inside 2:30 by the time they snap this one away. And there goes the clock. 2:55 and counting.
Knodel, Pittman, Nielsen in the backfield with quarterback Travis Hansen. Pittman again. And why not? He won't get much, but that's not the point. The clock is rolling.
I think Doug Sky's seen enough, Steve. I don't think he's going to bother stopping it the rest of the way.
Jason Brockle made the tackle there. Pickup of 2.
And there you see Doug. He had hoped for a better showing here in this 9B championship. But Herreid Pollock will go home, it looks like, with nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. But still a great season nonetheless for the Express and their fans up in the northern part of South Dakota.
Pitch back to Nielsen. Oh, is he hit? He'll lose yardage.
Now you'll see a timeout.
Kent Fell made the hit on that play. Timeout, Herreid Pollock. As I look back at the records here, Jeff, Sully Butte held Herreid Pollock to 8 points. But otherwise, this was a team that scored some big numbers on people, and what a credit it is to the Irene defense to shut them out today.
Yeah, I see a 16-13 score in there against Selby, but other than that, everything is well over 20 points with the exception of the loss to Sully Butte that you pointed out. 46 and a win over Hovind, 28 a next win, 30 and a win, 52 over Leola Edmond Central, 48 or 49 over Eureka, 50 against McLaughlin, 50-0 in that game. And then the playoffs, as we mentioned, 20, 22, and 38 points for Herreid Pollock.
And if the score holds up, this will be, I believe, the 4th shutout for Irene. 4th shutout. They shut out Centerville, shut out Hurley-Viborg, shut out Parker. I'll check that. Shut out Avon. Beat Parker 28-20. That was their closest game, I guess, in the undefeated season.
And it would also be the 4th shutout in a 9B championship game, the last coming in 1989 when Castlewood whitewashed Wall 27-0.
Oh, look at this. Hansen's going to throw it. I asked why. It's complete. Wiebinga.
Well, apparently they thought they would catch the defense napping, and as it turned out, they did pick up a decent gain on it. But it's still going to be 4th down and about 4, or 5 rather. And I'm thinking you got to kick the ball away now if you're Irene.
No question. Here comes a punt. Pittman will do the kicking, and now I think if you're Herreid Pollock, you send 8 men.
The other problem for the Express now, no timeouts. They are tapped dry in the timeout department. They cannot stop the clock again without an incomplete pass or a ball going out of bounds.
Pittman will do the kicking. More than likely, Grodd will be back to receive.
Keep in mind, we've got one more 9-man championship coming your way a half an hour after the conclusion of this one. Defending 9A champ Garrettson, who hasn't lost a game since the 1989 title game to Sully Butte. They will be going against one of the Cinderella teams in this playoff championship, Wessington Springs, although I don't think the Spartans consider themselves to be Cinderella stories. They knocked off Sully Butte by 30 points in the semifinals to get in this title tilt against Garrettson.
Gehring is the guy back. There's no rush on. High booming kick. Gehring will take it at his 26. He will drop it, and Irene's going to get another fumble recovery, maybe. Nope, Herreid Pollock came up with it.
And then just to remind you the rest of our schedule, as we've got some late extracurricular stuff going on, and not the stuff we talked to Beth Ternary about. Tonight in our evening session, which will start at 7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain Time, Vermilion, the defending 11A champ, in their home building, will go against the Lead Gold Diggers, the only real West River hope. And they're bringing the hopes of a lot of people with them from the western side of South Dakota. That should be a whale of a ball game, a pair of 9-2 teams. And then tomorrow we'll be on the air at 5 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone. The 11B Championship. Hamlin, the Dynasty, going for the three-peat. The Chargers and head coach Arlen Lickness going for 3 straight state titles, but the Parkston Trojans, the true Cinderella story of this playoff series, are looking to knock them off. Parkston has never been to the playoffs before in the state of South Dakota. They've never been in the finals, obviously. They're unbeaten. First time since 1959 that Parkston fielded an unbeaten football team, and that'll be our early game tomorrow. And then, of course, Huron, unbeaten, will go against the powerhouse of 11AA O'Gorman tomorrow night in our late game at about 7:30 Central, 6:30 Mountain. So plenty of football still to come.
Herreid Pollock has a minute 26 to try to get 14 points, and they've changed quarterbacks. Grodd is not in there. Justin Wessel is, throws a bullet out to Grodd, who can't hang on to it. Wessel is a 6'1 sophomore, 145-pounder, and apparently he's got a pretty good arm. They brought in the rifle now, and they're going to need some big-time plays, big passes. But just a minute 18 left. Grodd goes out to a receiver spot. Gehring split out to the right. Wessel looking out here again, out and up, going deep. Look at this pass. Grodd is there and can't quite get to it. Back on the defense was Reuter. I guess they have their speed defensive backs in there to try to cover that kind of thing.
Well, Grodd cut it back up toward the middle of the field that time, whereas if he had kept running straight, might have actually been more underneath the ball than he was, but it was a difficult pass to catch because he was looking straight back over his head trying to bring it in, and it's indicative of the way things have gone for Herreid Pollock, things falling a couple of yards short for the Express this afternoon.
Wessel launched that missile about 45 or 50 yards in the air. That was a pretty good toss.
Look at the prevent defense now for Irene.
3rd and 10. Snap barely gets there. Wessel throws in the middle of the field. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Reuter, and that will do it.
Reuter just back there playing center field for the Cardinals, who will now begin to celebrate. The fans in red on the far side are on their feet. Lots of high fives on the Irene sideline. The number 1 finger up in the air. And Irene will be the champions of 9B as Reuter puts the icing on the cake with the interception. They didn't have to travel far to get here for this game, but they had to take a long road to get to this place, going all the way to Buffalo last week, 497 miles to win in the semifinals. It was well worth the trip for Irene. They'll just kneel it down and run it out.
No timeouts left for Herreid Pollock. Take a knee. 39, 38, 37. As the clock ticks down, and a state football championship for the Irene Cardinals. They finished the year 12-0, undefeated, with victories over Menno, Centerville, Hurley-Viborg, Corsica, Avon, Alcester, Hudson, Wakanda, Gayville, Vollen, Parker, Avon again, then Tripp Delmont, and Harding County, and now over Herreid Pollock. 12-0. Irene, the 9B state football champions. And coming up, they will get their awards as they get the congratulations from a very fine Herreid Pollock Campbell County Express Ball Club. All the scoring in the first half, as following a blocked punt, it was then Kelly Nielsen who took it in from 11 yards out on a run after Jason Pittman had softened up the defense with his inside running. That made it 6-0. The extra point was wide. Then a blocked punt recovered by Steve Wiebinga, and he ran it in from about 5 yards out. They went for 2 and completed the 2-point conversion. 14-0 at the half. In the second half, some turnovers and some offense, but no scoring. So the final is 14-0. A reminder coming up in about a half hour, we will have Garrettson versus Wessington Springs. Garrettson is 11-0. They are the defending state champions. Wessington Springs is 8-3. And they got here by virtue of victories over Kimball, Hanson, and Sully Butte in the playoffs. So that's coming up in about a half hour. And then tonight, Lead and Vermilion will go out and here on the home field of the Tanagers at Dakota Dome. That is for the 11A state championship. What a great job today by the Irene defense. They were really impressive. Just let me give you a rundown on who is on the Irene defense. Many of them also play on offense, but you have Mike Satter and Dan Slowey, Travis Van Beek, Tim Knodel, and Steve Wiebinga across the front. Check that. You have Wiebinga, Slowey, Darren Jensen, and Mike Satter across the front. The linebackers, Kelly Nielsen, Jason Pittman, Travis Van Beek. And the defensive backs, Matt Knodel and Joe Cease. And they had the shutout. The final 14-0. And there you see many of the Irene Cardinals. Jason Pittman is easy to spot with the haircut. You can see an emotional Jason Pittman as he and his teammates complete a perfect 12-0 season, and Pittman did some great running on the inside from his fullback position. There you see number 20, that is the quarterback. Travis Hansen, he is a senior. Many of these players seniors on both sides. For Irene, Nielsen, Pittman, Van Beek, Satter, Jensen, Slowey, and Wiebinga.
For the Class 9B, our Board of Control members of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, Lauren Siefkin of Condie and Clay Anderson of McIntosh. To accept the runner-up award in this Class B 9B championship game for the Herreid Pollock Express, head coach Doug Sky. And to accept the award for the Class 9B state champions, the Irene Cardinals, head coach Brent Muchel-Knaus.
We'll be back with more from the Dakota Dome coming up, including some words from Coach Muchel-Knaus. You're watching the boys South Dakota Football Championships on Dakota Territory and the Eyewitness Sports Network. Back at the Dakota Dome, the Irene Cardinals enjoying a thrill of victory. And the teams for our next game getting ready to warm up. The Garrettson Blue Dragons 11-0 take on Wessington Springs 8-3. Right now we'll hear from Coach Muchel-Knaus with Jeff Harkness.
Thank you, Steve. Brent, did you think when you started up this summer you guys would be standing here in November celebrating a 9B championship?
It's something we dreamed about. We didn't know if it was going to happen, but we hoped it would. The kids really worked hard for it, and it paid off for them.
Were you surprised that there was no scoring in the second half? We talked about the defensive struggle at halftime, but did you think that either side would get something going in the second half?
I thought there would maybe be one or two scores in the second half, but both sides didn't grudge. We had some big plays, some interceptions at the end that really helped us to sustain our field position and keep them from getting too close.
Seemed like a real balanced attack for you guys today. No one star. Matt Knodel got the most valuable player, but seemingly it could have gone to several players for you guys, both offensively and defensively.
That's the way it's been all year. You don't get this far with just one or two good players. They all have to be pretty balanced and play as a team and work together.
Obviously, hats off to Herreid Pollock. They played an excellent ball game, too. They just unfortunately came away with no points, but they gave you guys a game today.
They tested us like we haven't been tested this year. They're a fine bunch of players, aggressive, good hitters, and they deserve what they have what they've done to this point this year and got this far.
Okay, Coach, congratulations on the 9B championship. Matt, let's bring in the MVP.
Hi, Dad.
Coach wanted to say hello to his father. We've got Matt Canode will come on in here. Matt, what does this 9B championship mean now to the town of Irene?
I think it's tradition. Now we're going to try and keep on doing it now. It's been 3 years that we made it in. Now we're just going to keep on going for it. Keep a good program going for us, I guess.
At what point during the year did you guys think, hey, we really have a shot at not only going undefeated, but also winning a championship?
Well, after we shut out Vibrant Curly, everyone picked them to beat us, and we just went out there and just, played football and beat them and didn't even let them score, and I guess that was a turning point for us pretty much.
What does this do now for Irene football in years to come? Obviously, you guys are on the map now as the state champions for the first time.
I guess, kids are going to be working for it now, I guess. So it's something they don't want to play, something they know they can do now. We had to go out and prove it, and we did it.
Coach said this was your toughest test by far with Wessington Spring, or with Herreid Pollock. Were they as good as they seemed coming in?
I really didn't know much about them, but they played one heck of a game, though. That's what I thought.
Your feelings on being MVP?
I'm surprised. I guess that's about it.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy it. Congratulations to Irene. They win the 9B championship. They beat Herreid Pollock in our first game this afternoon, 14-0. We're going to shift gears a little bit right now and talk about a controversial subject that cropped up in the middle of a high school football season this year in the state of South Dakota. A predominantly boys game, as you have seen from our action so far today, but we had someone of the female gender trying to break into the game in Sioux Falls earlier this season with mixed results. Nathan Lang has that story from Sioux Falls.
Heather Wicklander is the 14-year-old backyard football pro in her neighborhood. She'd like to take those talents to her high school
Once again,
field,
coaches,
but
the
she says
all-state
the freshman football
selection
coach
meeting
didn't exactly give her words of
for
encouragement.
Class 9B will be held in a practice.
They shouldn't think that because you're a girl you can't play certain stuff, because you're pretty much equal.
Heather knows she's bucking the system, and she's taken a lot of jeers from other kids, but fighting back is a value Mom installed in her long ago.
Something my parents have always instilled in me: if you want something, go for it.
If that's why Heather wants to go out for football, because she loves the sport and wants to play football, and I think that's great. And I say, come on out for football. But if she's coming out just for the novelty of coming out, to make us a story, a splash in the news, then she's coming out for the wrong reasons.
Heather knows football can be a rough, sometimes dangerous sport. That's one of the things she likes about it.
What position would you like to play?
Defensive linebacker.
Why do you want to play defensive linebacker?
Because they'll go after the quarterback.
Yeah?
And sack him.
You sack him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you'd be good at.
Yeah.
It's a dream a lot of kids have, to strap on a helmet in high school and go on to play pro ball. It's a dream that doesn't know the boundary of gender. Nathan Lang, Eyewitness News, Sioux Falls.
Thank you, Nathan. Back at the Dakota Dome, getting ready for the 9A state championship football game. Garrettson taking on Wessington Springs. Garrettson, number 1 in the state, 11-0 defending state champions. Wessington Springs is 8-3. They were unranked coming into the playoffs, but they beat Sully Butte 42-12, and Sully Butte, one of the top ball clubs in the state. So that gives you an idea what Wessington Springs is capable of. In case you've just tuned in earlier, Irene beat Herreid Pollock 14-0 on the scoreboard. Here is how they did on the Northwest stat board, as basically this game totally dominated by defense. Just 18 first downs between the two teams. You can see the yards rushing by the Express, 89. This is a team that ran the ball well throughout the season, but the Cardinal defense was so good. Passing, and the Express with more attempts because they were behind in the ball game. They had a little more yardage. Total yards very, very close. Turnovers, one was very big. A fumble recovery by Irene. That was a touchdown, as Wiebinga picked it up and took it in. And then there's another stat that doesn't show there is the block punt that led to the other touchdown for Irene, and they win it 14-0. So now we're getting ready for Garrettson and Wessington Springs, but we're going to take a timeout and take you back to the studio for a look at the latest news.